So thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Now let's start with your general thoughts, on this crisis. You're an educator, a columnist, executive director for Learn, and of course, youth representative for Amnesty International. It's been over a month since the seizure of Taliban in Afghanistan. How do you reckon the current situation in your country, and what are the primary difficulties, or concerns that you encounter at the moment as an educator and women rights activist?
It's been a month, and within this month, we have seen that we have lost the right to get educated in a public institute. We have lost the right to work in a public institute. We have lost the right to work in the private sector. So I'm not going to victimize anything, but it's as much as world's fault, as much as it's the leader's fault to make the women victims once again.
Right. So when we talk about the current situation in Afghanistan crisis, we tend to begin the story from an agreement that was signed by the United States and the Taliban last year in Doha. Now that was a peace agreement, peace negotiation. However, did you or did you not expect as a citizen that when the agreement comes to pass, the Taliban would make a sudden move for the second time?
I did not. I did not. I thought maybe the world has become a better place. Maybe the people who care about Afghanistan. Now, as a woman, of course, I'm going to say that I'm anti-warlord, anti-Taliban, or anti all those people who are extremists, use religion and weaponize it against women. But politically, you have to understand that you can't ignore the fact that all these people are stakeholders. They are there, and we don't have a choice. We have to move forward. And this time, I thought maybe the US would know by, once if you know history, you are not supposed to repeat it. I thought they know the history, so they won't repeat it, and they will bring in all the parties to the table. But at the end of the day, the same mistake was repeated.
Right. So for the past 20 years, the troops from the US were there in your country. Now that they have left, we have witnessed a lot of shattering conditions in Afghanistan, where many people have lost their lives, journalists and, many other commoners beaten up heartlessly, and people fleeing their country desperately. But the US president, however, says that their mission was fulfilled, it was successful. How do you see the situation? Did America really do their job?
Hey, I'm going to be honest. Military was never the solution for Afghanistan. Military was never the solution. People came in, they went against what farmers, people who were in the rural areas. Every other person who wore a turban was seen as the Taliban. But attacking Afghanistan and then forgetting Afghanistan and then making sure that it becomes a retainer state was never the solution. It should never have been the solution.
Okay, now the citizens of Afghanistan, especially women, we have witnessed over the past few weeks, they have voiced concerns. They have, taken to the streets to protest over the new era living under Taliban regime, because for them it is very untypical. If you notice their protest, their minds are like, they are not willing to give up on their rights. How much is it going to impact the lives of them as Taliban has now taken over the country, and how long do you think the protest will go on?
Protests are dying down. If you see the political landscape right now, more and more protests and demonstrations are controlled. People are not coming out, and they are completely of public spaces for women especially. Those protests, they were very meaningful. They were brave women who came out, who wanted to talk, wanted their rights in their own country, and they're entitled to it. In 21st century, you're still fighting to get the right to vote, to get the right to work, to get the right to study is amusing at times. And the fact that they are still being ignored is also something that should be concerning the whole world.
Right. Now, the Taliban has claimed that they have changed from their past regime with regards to rights of women, and they have assured that it will be granted to them, but of course under Sharia law. Do you ever think such rights will be implemented to all the women, especially in every field, including education and jobs? And have they really changed as they claim they have?
If they have changed, why don't they let girls from class 7 to class 12 go to back to schools? They have changed. They have changed. Why don't the women resume their work? Why do we have to still wait? Because their group is not in consensus on what we do, how we work, how we study, what we do.
As a teacher, what are your concerns about the future of students, and are the students really at the moment agitated, and have they expressed their concerns regarding pursuing their education further in their homeland?
As an educator, I feel the right to talk against the fact that any person who's gonna lose the opportunity of Afghan children just to make sure that they entertain their political appetite is wrong. In the past, I have talked, and I'm talking right now. In the past, at least it was a right. If there is not a school in your own village, you can go to a school in another village. You can go to the city and get that education. But right now, it's like, if you're this certain gender, if you're this age, you're not supposed to go to any school, even if it's right in front of your house. That's what it concerns me. That's what is alarming right now.
Right. Now, talking about the same subject of education, we know the Taliban introduced gender segregation and dress code for female students, but it's very inspiring to see that girls and women alike protesting against them on social media, posting photos of their cultural dress with the hashtag do not touch my clothes. What's your take on that? Are the women really determined or not allowing the Taliban to change their cultural way of living?
I think women are entitled to do whatever they want. Don't you think? I mean, it's time that people do understand. Men are deciding for us. It's funny. Men have the right to decide for my work, right to decide for my education, right to decide how I live, what inheritance I get, how I go, how I vote. I think the least they can do is stop talking like women about my clothes. That's the least they can do. They should be backing off from the clothes at least.
So, according to your perspective, how do you see the next few years in Afghanistan? Is there something the UN or other world leaders must do in order to bring peace, stability, and rights of the people? And what are your final thoughts about this crisis?
There's no time to heal, there's no time to grieve. We bury our dead ones and then we continue trying to protect the ones that are left. That's the life we have lived through. That's the life I have lived through. The next 4 years, 5 years, or even 4 months, our sole focus should be girls in schools, women back to work.
Right.
I don't care what continues who's in political power, who's not. I want the women in workplace. I want the girls to educate. I'm not asking you for women ministers right now. All I'm asking is women who's the breadwinner of the family, who's a teacher, who's a bank accountant, who's working in a factory. Let her go to work. That's all I'm asking.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Pashtana Durrani. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it.